For students or early career professionals considering a career related to GIS, what advice would you share with them?
Actually, yeah, I was thinking about this last night when talking about certain devices because also currently in the middle of I'll call it technology upgrade in my team, my group, and also giving AI now is the hot topic and the buzzword for the current cases. I think like somehow AI didn't get that fully in depth in GIS. So that's where I'd say it's an opportunity there, like having the investigating automation of the using different spatial products, which like as basic as a model builder or Python can already achieve. Uh, but that's more like for the GIS professionals to use, rather than like I cannot ask any like even a junior member in my team to run Python or just to create it for something, which in AI or like a kind of GPT tool, like it can already summarize the analysis for you. But also knowing that GIS is very data sensitive and data heavy tool that so there are rooms to explore. I don't have an answer for that, but I assume people like are still in college or early in their career will have the opportunity because this makes me feel old. I started learning GIS with ArcMap, and when I'm having difficulties, we're currently using ArcGIS Pro and also HLL, but I still retreat to my ArcMap to do some running some things if I finding myself having a hard time. And but I understand like last time I went back to Duke and found like almost every single students are in their classes have an AI component to enter AI classes or our classes teaching automation, which I believe like with that kind of mindset, it is definitely an opportunity that can increase the efficiency and also is the next book I consider as the next wave to explore. Outside of that hype, the AI hype, another advice is just like trying to be open-minded other than just solely fully focusing on GIS because I'd imagine at least from the GIS worker people I've been involved in, they're super smart, but other than their like strong technical skills, they have very strong communication skills and presentation skills. This is something like unlike a computer science programmers, like these are things that you cannot miss because you can be super professional, create maps in a second, run all kind of analysis with hyper supercomputer, but sometimes either that's not available to you or you're just in your own world, but in a business or in industry perspective, you're not be seen as creating value for the company, which sometimes usually got overlooked. And you think I'm just doing really great in GIS, but people didn't see you shine. And so you have the numbers, you have the you got technical abilities, but you need to tell the story. Um, and also that's probably why the original impression of when you're talking about I'm a GIS analyst, I work with maps, people think you're just in a small condo, just looking at a computer drawing maps the whole time. I try to fight with that stereotype for a while by telling people I'm going out in the field. And another thing is like other than those two is the uh, be continue to have the creative solutions to a topic. Like I said, we have so many challenges in the GIS world. But it's like simple as if you think like a navigation, like from point A to point B. Uh, there are so many ways to just achieve that simple ask, a simple goal, especially in an industry setting that you need to come up with solutions. You can, and then realizing your creativity, like from point A to point B, do you want to go the fastest route? Do you want to go the shortest route? Do you want to go the route that has no tolls? Is like the navigations like the Google map, or like you want to go on the road that like cost the minimum amount of fuel, or if you're like a truck driver, maybe a road that has is like there's all protected turns and or like a heavy hauler, you want a road that has a least slope change. So there's a lot of aspects just to think of from simple tasks like that, which I see like for limited training. We have that in academia setting. But yeah, not super detailed in JS advice, but I believe like those are the what kind of soft skills and trends that I'd encourage in people. So when you graduate or when you want to switch in stuff, you just don't think like I can only do JS. Like JS will appear given like anywhere, almost anywhere. You will use it, but it's just like it's not like natural like you will only do JS.
I think what I would have liked to hear when I was a little bit younger, just getting involved in the industry and the organization or like other organizations. Um, my like GIS geared organizations. My company, when I started here, we do a lot of like proposal writing, grant writing, um, that sort of thing, things where we put in applications. We have to have like certain specs for like the engineer has to have so many whatever years or their PE or something like that. And then they're looking for that as well with like the GIS individual. So seeing what industry or career that you're trying to go in, and then seeing what available certifications are being are wanted or are being accepted. My company was really adamant about me getting my GISP. I didn't have it when I started, but it was something I got within the first year here. Um, but they, being aware of that earlier, and then also getting in those organizations so you can see all the options and all the things that are out there, like the conferences, the different things you can be involved in. Those things, even on your resume, kind of bump your status, I would say. Even I've had some interviews where people ask me what organizations I'm in, and you want to be able to give a little info on that, and let everybody around you know that you're kind of up to date with what your industry is doing. That's a good way to stay up to date with like what's happening in it, and then also the people as well. So whatever's new, you're kind of being involved there. And I would like to kind of go off of what Mingfei said with like you can't just be a GIS person because you have to really understand the data that you're putting into GIS. I see a lot of like the data cleanup things that I have to do nowadays are a GIS person just doing what the individual asks them, the requester asks them to do, not really thinking about like the duplicity of things or the consequences of like you not recording this or that, and kind of how that just compounds over time. And somebody has to fix it at some point. Who knows what's going on? Especially with like water data and utility data, there is differences between like catch basins, manholes, and if you're not like putting those in correctly, it causes a real confusion and a real like who made this data. But yeah, I think just like being involved with the organization, I went through like the mentor mentee program. That's how I was directed towards this group and to be here today, which really helped me a lot and just being more comfortable, especially when you live on like an island in your career. Staying connected with the industry is super important.
The biggest piece of advice that would have been really helpful for me is to look outside of what software, like desktop software you're using. I had a really educational experience in my first job learning how to build dashboards and maps through Esri's enterprise and online system. But my company was always looking for what's the new GIS thing, what's the new cutting edge thing we can do. AI is really big as well. So keeping up to date with all the different tools and software additions that are out there can be really helpful, because especially if you're going to move into an industry where there may not be a lot of GIS professionals, you might be the person leading the cutting edge. You might be the person that sees a gap that your company doesn't even know they have, and you could find the solution with some of these available opportunities. I know right now we use Tableau for our map development here, and it's not a great mapping software if you've ever had to use it. And so being able to demonstrate to people like these are some things that I can do with these additional tools is really valuable. I also think not limiting yourself to GIS, as the others have stated, is really important. In my job, I do a lot of different things. I get to wear a lot of different hats, which is really helpful, especially for career growth. If you want to keep doing GIS, but you don't necessarily want to just exclusively be a GIS analyst or a GIS technician, having a wide range of skills is really valuable for not only advancing like upward in your career, but also if you want to move to a different company, being able to demonstrate like I can do SQL, I can do Python, or I can, write documents, I can do presentations. Those are all extremely valuable skills that are transferable to pretty much any job, especially being able to present your own work and be able to adapt the message to different audiences. I know here at my company, I do a lot of deck development. I get to put together a lot of slideshows, but I often have to modify them depending on who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to my VP, it's a very different style of message than if I'm talking to a director who's a lead on a project. And so those are skills that take time to develop, but I really encourage that if you have the opportunity to present in graduate school to audiences that aren't GIS audiences, that you take advantage of it because it's a really great opportunity to get feedback from your peers and to also talk to people who aren't GIS oriented and see what kinds of questions they might have. It gives you the opportunity to see their perspective and kind of learn what your audience is thinking when they see your work.